G'day riders, I'm Nicko and this is the Aussie Punter Review.
Legends. He wants to say it. Should we let him say it? Yeah, why not? Nicko, take it away, buddy.
I need the glasses and the hat.
And the hat.
Riders, welcome to Sam's E-Bikes, where we only talk e-bikes. Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Good, good.
Nicko,
yes.
Mate, welcome to the channel.
Yep.
And, yeah, give me my hat.
Yeah.
And my glasses, because this is kind of my costume for life with Sam's Bikes. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. And you have been on the Giant Rain for the last 2 months.
Yep.
Because I've been busy testing the Giant Trance, and I thought, why not give Nicko, the Aussie punter, a go of the Giant Rain? And also thought it might be interesting because, like, I go pretty deep on these e-bikes and sometimes I go over people's heads. And I thought it'd be super interesting for a punter as Nicko, 2 years on the bike, to give his point of view of an electric mountain bike, and it might help you punters out there. So the first question for Nicko, the Aussie punter, how long have you been riding, Nicko, and what was your first bike?
Well, if we were going to start from the start, we went out for lunch and we just to catch up, we saw each other a few years ago and we sat down to have some lunch, and after a few sneakies, talking about your project with the e-bikes, I ended up with an e-bike, a YT. I bought that bike and started riding from that moment. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, right? It's like we went out, we had a quick lunch, had a few sneaky beers, and Nicko ended up spending like $4.5 grand on an electric mountain bike, which was a good deal.
Yep.
And it was the YT decoy.
It was the YT, yeah. It was nice. Yep.
And I've got a very quick question that wasn't in the notes, because I do have notes here, riders. Always have notes. So the first month on the electric mountain bike, how did you find it?
Well, the first month was, it was just great. It was just, I had a bit of a background in motocross, but it was just amateur. I used to ride back when I was 20, and I hadn't been on two wheels for a long time, to tell you the truth. And this was just a great way to get back on two wheels, and I could be more adventurous. I could go up and down more, do more downs, as they say.
Yep.
And I still was getting my exercise out of it, but I could just be more adventurous.
Yeah,
That's probably the best thing to.
Like what I think, like I'm also going to put my point of view in here. I have to. It's my channel. He's trying to take it over.
Yes.
Look at him.
Nick Spikes.
Look at him. Nick Spikes. That's a good one. We should start a second channel. Like Nicko, for me, like he had a bit of motocross background. He grabbed the duck. It was like a duck to water. Honestly, he was a natural, which I like to call him. He was also biting off a little bit more than he could chew. There was quite a few accidents in the first like 2 or 3 months. And I actually got to the point where I said, Nicko, if I see more than 2 crashes in one day, it's game over.
Yeah.
And, but he did have a little fall. He broke some ribs and he did slow down, but also his experience on the bike went up a next level. And now, you know, he's
I got more respect for the sport.
Yeah.
I got a little bit loose, and I started to think I could do more than I could, do. And then I had a little bit of a big fall, and then from there I respect the sport. So I just, get all my safety gear. I've actually got my elbow pads. I've got shoulders. I've got knees. I've got the whole works, because I got to go to work tomorrow. And that's the other thing, about being a 45-year-old dude.
Yeah. And Nicko brought up a very good point there. Like when he bought the bike, which was, a pretty big investment for someone that hasn't ridden mountain bikes or electric mountain bikes. But I said, Nicko, it's going to be this price for the bike. And also you're looking at 500 or 600 euros for protective gear. Yeah. And now when he comes out, he looks like he's going to war. Yeah. He pads up completely, but he does go to war. He rides really good. So that's all well and interesting, but what we're here for is the Giant Rain E+0. Nicko, how have you found your time? How long have you been on the bike? And more or less, how many hours, how many Ks have you done?
Well, I don't know Ks, but I've been riding this bike for about 2 months. And I ride once a week. I haven't got much time, but we do a couple hours a week. So that's about, what, 15, 16 hours that I've ridden on the Rain. I don't know kilometers. I'm not very good.
Probably, I would say about 200 to 300 Ks, okay, depending.
Yep.
And what were your first thoughts of this bike when you got on it?
The first thoughts was stability, and I just had more control. And this 29 wheel, which I've always used the 27 on the front, I just felt a lot more stability and control.
I just want to point it out, riders. The YT decoy that Nick was on was my Frankenstein decoy, my old bike.
Yeah.
And it was a mullet, but I actually changed it to a 27. So Nick has gone from a 27 front and back to a 29 to a 27.5. Just tell me, what do you think those differences were for you?
I just felt I could just get over rocks a lot more comfortably. So yeah. I just had more control. I just felt like I was getting stuck with the 27.
Yeah.
And this just kept on going over a lot of things.
Yeah.
I didn't get stuck, but you know what I'm saying. It had more. I had more movement over rocks and
stuff. A bit more confidence.
Yeah, and confidence, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
And just gonna sneak it in there. You would know if you're a fan of the channel, I'm not a massive fan of SRAM code brakes. But on the old Dark that Nicko had, which had Shimano XT, which are fantastic brakes, and this has codes. Nicko, what were your thoughts going from Shimano brakes to SRAM code brakes?
Well, I felt it was good. I had a great time. That's a word.
Yeah, so basically I think probably I get stuck up a little bit on, I have the luxury of, riding all these bikes, and I do test the limit quite highly on these bikes. And, it's kind of like putting 2 bottles of wine out on the table that are $100 and going, which one's better? Yeah. They're both bloody good.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And so these brakes you're happy with, yeah?
I was happy. And like I said, I don't go 100 miles an hour. I got to go to work tomorrow. So I just go to enjoy myself. I feel confident on the bike, and the brakes felt pretty similar for me. They felt similar.
Yeah. So, they're not riders, but they are good for a punter. This is a punter's review here.
It's Nicko. Poor Nicko.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
And we're going to geek out a little bit here. We're going to talk about the motor. So this bike has the Sync Drive Pro, which is pretty much the Yamaha PWX3. And Nicko was on the Duck with the Shimano EPA, and he's also had the pleasure of riding a Kenevo with a Bros Mag S, which has 90 Newton meters. So Nicko, what did you think of this motor compared to the Shimano and compared to the Kenevo?
Well, I rode the YT, the Duck, a lot more.
Yep.
Once I jumped on this, I just found it had a lot more torque. So when I climb up mountains, I had a lot more, that lower end torque.
Yep.
Which is good for the big boys.
Yep.
The Kenevo, we went out for a day where we did a bit of a specialized where we swapped bikes, and I found that I had a little bit more, but I can't really find the difference because I've been on this and I love this.
Yeah. No, totally. What we did probably 18 months ago, we put Nicko and me,
you should put it on the link,
and Enzo. We'll put it on the link down here, riders. The Levo SL, the Levo, and the Kenevo. So we did a bit of back-to-back testing. I'll put a link in the show notes. So I reckon, we normally go out with Haman, Nicko, and me. Normally on a Saturday morning. We go out riding, we talk shop, we talk business, have a few beers at the end. So, you haven't really noticed a huge amount of difference between that power because Haman and myself normally go out on the Levos. So that's got the Bros Mag S.
Yep.
But
I keep up. So the good thing is also with the bigger battery, we go riding a lot longer, and it has enough torque. So I just keep up behind you guys. So it's no big deal. And then we go down.
Yeah,
so
no problem.
A lot more ups, a lot more downs.
Yeah. Now the question is, if you could point out 1 or 2 things that make the Rain better than the YT Decoy, what would they be?
For me, the biggest thing was the battery.
Yeah.
the thing is we would determine our riding by my battery.
Yep.
And because I'd have it on boost constantly, I would chew it up, and I'd be going, "Come on, boys, we're going back."
Yeah.
But now with the rain, we can do a 2-hour ride, and I've still got battery.
Yeah.
The other part is the torque.
Yep.
Like I said, I always run on boost, and look, the Y2 was a great bike. I don't want to bag the bike. This is my baby.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just like a step up. We got a bigger battery, more time on the bike, and we've got more torque.
Yeah. And I'm also going to add in, we have never run out of battery on this ride, and that was pretty much
the problem.
The determining how long we're going to ride for. It was like, we're going, should we go do one more loop? And Nicko's like, guys, I'm on red.
I'm on 1 bar.
Yeah, I'm out of here. So Nicko's a big guy. He's 186 on a good day or on a slope.
I was over there just before, but he made me change. So.
Yeah, I didn't want to look short, riders. Didn't want to look short. But Nicko, how have you found the sizing of this bike? So hang on, Nicko is on a large rein here.
Yep. Oh, for me, it's, I don't know how to gauge it, but it feels comfortable. I get right over the back when I need to go down the mountain. That big wheel chews up all the rocks. That's all I know.
But it feels good. It doesn't feel awesome. Like you're too stretched out, too back.
No, perfect for me.
You don't get any neck pain or anything like that?
I'm 100 kg, 186 centimeters, and this bike for me feels comfortable.
Good.
Yep.
Next question. And now into a bit of a geeky question, and Nick probably doesn't even know what the suspension is, but this is a Maestro suspension. So Nicko, with 160 in the rear, how did you find that Giant Maestro suspension?
Look, this sounds a bit cliche, but I feel comfortable on this bike. It just feels like I'm floating. I don't know, like a magic carpet. Yeah. I don't know. It just feels really comfortable. Like I said, I'm not a geek like you, man. I'm jumping on the bike. I do 2 hours a week, and the bike just feels comfortable. Even with the suspension, I just feel really like we go down some real chatter stuff, and I just feel there was times on the YT where I would be bumping around. I find this bike that we've actually set up the suspension. I feel like a magic carpet.
Yeah.
It just really rides all right over it.
Yep, that's a point that Nicko just made. Like, we did a video like a month or two ago on setting up the suspension.
Yep.
Link in the show notes, riders, or you can click up here or here. I'm never sure where it is, but that's definitely worth a look, because we take it from a base setup to really setting it up for you. And after we did that, I also think that, like, Nicko on his YT decoy, you had RockShox Lyrics, which have 35 stanchions. And this has Fox 38s, which has 38 stanchions, which is thicker.
Yep.
And like, Nicko and I have a beer at the end of the ride and we talk this stuff. But you were saying that you felt like that you could push into stuff better.
Yep. So, and I felt more stable. And then you would say that it was because of the... I'm pretending I know what I'm talking about. But you would actually say to me, well, this is a different size
diameter of the stanchions, which does make it more stable. And I honestly thought when the bike industry loves to sell us lots of stuff, let's be honest. But I thought it was a bit of jargon when they came out with 38 stanchions. But actually, you can push stuff like through rocks. So instead of like the stanchions or the forks pushing into the bike, so when you're hitting big stuff, the forks are going to push more into the frame, and it will kind of give you that kind of pushing, like, jerky experience. With the thicker stanchion, so the 38s here, it's more solid, and you just like motor through it, you muscle through it.
Well, that's the feeling I felt.
You Tonka truck through it.
Tonka truck through it. Yeah. It just feels comfortable. So, and I'm guessing it's because of that. And you would say it to me, and I'm like, all right, whatever you say, geek.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So, okay, so this is a little bit delicate question. We never like talking about money, but Nicko entered the sport 2 years ago with the Duck, paid $4,500. Now, after 2 years in the sport, what do you think is an acceptable price to pay for an electric mountain bike for you?
Well, I thought it was excessive at the start, but then I enjoyed it. I used it every week. I think I got my money out of it, and now I'm thinking of selling the bike, my YT, my baby, which I do love. But after riding this for the last 2 months, am in love with this, and I'm willing to pay a little bit more. I think it's reasonable to pay up to 7,000 to 8,000 euros for a bike. You know, selling off the other one and just putting in a few extra K in there. But it's something I'm going to enjoy, and it's fully spec'd. It's for me, it's perfect, and I feel safer on the bike. I feel more comfortable on the bike. I don't mind paying that sort of money.
Yeah, no, and it's something that, like, I'm adding in a few questions here. As I said, I've got my notes here, but like when Nicko bought the YT decoy, his missus said he's not going to ride the bike. He said, "Oh, good. Another thing you're not going to use. Oh, good." Like,
Proves it wrong.
But you know, like, it is that thing that I see a lot of people buying, like, you know, normal mountain bikes or normal road bikes and not using it. But I would say, like, you paid $4.5 for your YT Duck. You're probably gonna, like, when you sell it, you probably move it for $3.5, and you ride it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, you got your money's value, you got your money's worth out of it, I think.
Yep.
No?
I think so. Yeah. And like I said, every weekend we would use it. Sometimes we'd go for a weekend away and would use it 2 or 3 days. But I'm a casual weekend rider, weekend warrior, as they say. But I got my money's worth for it. But now I want to go up to the next level.
Yeah.
I want to, you know, update the bike. Yeah. And after riding this, I think you stuffed me up. Now I want this one. Now I want this one. So yeah, because it's like anything, you know. Once you get into a sport, you want to improve and also upgrade.
I want to ask, Nicko, after 2 years of riding electric mountain bikes, do you think your health has benefited? Like, do you think you're fitter, stronger?
Well, I've got the Garmin. Once I got the bike, I went and got the Garmin. I check all my heart rate. I think I'm not saying I'm the fittest person in the world, but at least I'm being active, and being on an e-bike pushes me to go out and be active.
Yeah.
So
because it's kind of easier. Like before I had an e-bike and I didn't want to sell my enduro bike. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna still ride my enduro bike. No way. I never rode my enduro bike. I sold it 6 months after getting my YT Duck. But what it does, I think, is makes the entry or the fact of leaving the house easier.
Yep.
Because you're going to get exercise, but it almost tricks you into going out and, it's going to be easy. It's not always easy.
It's not easy, but it's not going to be a killer.
No, exactly.
Yeah, so for me, every weekend we set our dates. It's either Saturday or Sunday, but we do every weekend, and it's easy on the mind. That's for sure.
Totally. And legend riders, we are on to the last question, and you know it, it's always the $1 million question. Nicko, would you spend your hard-earned cash on the Giant Rain E+ Zero today?
Right now?
Right now, right now.
Where's the checkbook? Where's my checkbook? I would buy it in a minute. So once I sell the YT, I'm getting this bike. Yeah, I'm getting in this bike.
Yeah,
so
no, that's a yay. You know, like, this was scripted and we had chatted about this. Yep. But also, Nicko, these are all the questions that I really like to talk to Nicko and my friends when they're out riding, just to get their point of view on, you know, how they're feeling. And this is everything we talked about today is pretty much what we talked about on the trails.
I don't shut up about this. So it's true.
Yeah, so riders, if you have any questions for me or Nicko, hit us up in the comments. We will answer them. And Nicko, legend.
Thank you
so much.
Lending me this bike.
No problem.
Fantastic.
No problem. Awesome. And riders, if you haven't subscribed to Sam's Bikes, you know you should, because this is where we only talk about e-bikes. And you stay safe out there, and we're going to see you next week.